Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the village, the township. You know, those government entities that make laws, regulations, and rules that affect you out there.
That's right. And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard, Addison Township, Oxford Township, these are the people that you elected in November, and the committees and the commissions that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you chose to go to that meeting or not. And that's why we're here.
Other than one of us wanting to establish, what do we want to say? Rumors?
A rumor.
Okay. And also there's a lot of humor involved, and if you don't believe it, like he says, if you don't attend these meetings, you'll find the humor. It'll come and bite you.
That's right. And you spent that night watching TV.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's talk about a couple of meetings that went on, and we're going to discuss Addison Township this time. A couple of pretty good meetings. One was the Addison Township Board of Trustees, which is held on December 19th, I believe it was, and Addison Township Parks and Rec, one of my favorites. But what do you look sad about?
No.
What?
That's okay. That's okay.
What's okay?
This may be the last time we do this.
What do you mean?
He looks shocked.
I've heard the rumor too. It's sad. The bears are crying.
I didn't start that rumor.
The porcupines are hiding behind trees.
Thumper is going, Bambi, Bambi, where are you?
Right. Well, I've heard a rumor. I think it's probably pretty strong that this will probably be the last report on Minutes by Minute, humorously, that we provide for Parks and Recreation.
That's
I don't know.
right.
Did they take up a petition?
I don't know.
I thought they liked our show.
I think it was unilateral.
Unilateral? Okay. But I understand that they're going to be filled in by a very
exciting library. Libraries.
Yes, library. In Addison Township, though.
That's right.
Yep. I only hope that they have a checkout point for the bears and the porcupines, because I really like to talk about, well, mention the skunks too, but I don't know if they use books. Probably not. But anyway, let's get on with the meeting,
As long as you can eat them.
You got it. Addison Township Board of Trustees. Bruce Pearson, of course, is the township supervisor, and he leads it, leads the pack.
That's
We should
right.
have that music in the background, shouldn't we? Leader of the pack.
Leader of the pack.
Right. Jacob Newby is a new bee on the board. And, right, he was elected trustee, and he gave the prayer.
Okay.
And he cited a prayer given by Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson. He had to dig for that one, I'm sure.
Oh,
But it
really?
was very interesting. I mean, you folks get a chance, view the meeting. But did a good job on it, Jacob. Other people on that board, of course, are Erickson, Joe King, Eric Sent, Linda, let me see. Trying to think of her last name. Linda, can't read my
I don't
notes
know.
either, huh?
No, I can't read your notes.
Gasik, I think it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Then there's
And Lori Fisher, of course. We know Lori very well.
That's right.
She's a treasurer. And
And
Pauline
also the
Bennett.
treasurer for the OACCC.
Yes, and Pauline Bennett, too. is the
That's
clerk.
true.
Both these people do various reporting, for the station here from time to time.
Yeah. Pauline's very good.
Pauline is very good. Yep. And so she has multitask capabilities out there.
Multitask.
Folks are pretty lucky.
Multifaceted.
Faceted, yeah, let's call it that. Let me see. Approval of the consent agenda went through. That makes sense. Gives the board an opportunity to review what's going to be on the agenda for the evening. And let me see. Board of Review appointment. They did make an appointment for the Board of Review, and that was Gene.
What does the Board of Review do?
For tax purposes. If
Is that like the ZBA?
No, well, a little bit different, because during tax time, if somebody disagrees with the assessment, then they go before the Board of Review and to determine, amongst other properties, if they're within the tax area or they're not.
Oh,
So that's what the Board of Review does. So you folks don't feel that you're being charged justifiably.
given how infrequently the ZBA meets, this one would probably be a lot more
Right.
infrequent.
It would be very infrequent. You probably have to call to the order. So anyway, that's what it is. And Gene Malia was appointed for that position, junior. not senior.
Okay.
Lakeville Cemetery, the auxiliary requested, was on the docket for $1,000. They wanted $1,000 for a windmill originally, but guess what? There's good news.
For a cemetery?
No, a windmill at the cemetery.
That's what I just said.
Remember, they used to have an old water windmill there at one time. It's about 30 feet in the air, I
A
guess.
water windmill?
Yeah.
And it
would
pumped
pump
water? And what's the new one do?
I don't know. It's just decremental.
Or
What does that mean?
Decorative.
Yeah.
Decorative.
It means it won't hold its bucket in water. Not at all.
It may be incremental, but you know.
Incremental. It could be incremental, yes. But anyway, so they want to, where the original site was, which is somewhere near the middle of the
What
cemetery.
happened to the old one?
It kind of went by the wayside.
It was blowing in the wind.
It was in the
Then it wasn't
cemetery.
there anymore.
Didn't have far to go.
So this new one won't pump or
No, it's
perform a
just
useful
decorative,
purpose other than go
just for looks,
twist and
I
turn.
think. But yeah, when the wind blows, of course, the fan blades will change
Cradle or
direction.
rock? No, that's the wrong one.
No, not that one. No. So anyway, she originally requested the speaker was Marlene Melia, and she said that they originally requested $1,000, but guess what, folks? They don't need it. They got enough contributions, donations, in order to pay for this thing.
And the new
pretty
one
good
will
news.
generate how much electricity? No, I
No,
don't know.
but that's a thought. They should have considered that, I think.
That's right.
You know, put a generator on it. They could pay for all the lights for all those people that live in that cemetery. I think they need those, but anyhow, that's a consideration.
Wouldn't they be shocked when they got complaints?
Right.
Too much noise.
Right. The company that they're going to get this from is called Potter Demand, and they're out of Sterling Heights. And a nice thing with this is they will do the installation and also maintenance on this windmill. So they don't have to worry about it, locally, having to maintain it.
But it doesn't.
there goes another
It
part.
doesn't work a pump. It doesn't power up
No.
a generator. It simply spins on an axis.
I think it does.
Okay.
It's a wheel that goes round and round. You know how that goes?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. But anyway, so they did agree to do this, but before they did, question came up. Is there a brake on this thing? Being the wind makes it spin.
A brake?
A brake. Most windmills will have a brake in a water windmill so that it doesn't spin off its axis up at the top if the wind really gets blowing.
Does it twist with the wind?
It will turn with the wind.
I see.
So that's what it does instead of brake.
Does it have automatic feathering vanes?
It does.
It does?
I believe it does. So that
Then-
if you get excessive wind, guess what? You still have a windmill left. It's
I
a
see.
really neat windmill.
I see.
And the cost for this thing installed is $2,350. But they have the money. You folks don't have to worry about it. It's covered. Then the next thing that came up was a cell tower by Verizon, which is going to be located at Oakwood and Heisner Road. Now, you asked me that question the other day because you heard about this.
I did.
You did. You forgot.
I did.
Check your yellow notes.
I don't.
It's in that list. Okay. Well, we'll try to revive his memory when we come back. Right after
Oakwood
this.
and Oakner and what?
Hosner.
Hosner.
That would be it.
Was it a black hole out there?
Could be.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome to American Legion in Oxford for the best fish on Fridays. That's right, from noon to 8:30. You can get the best walleye in Michigan. You can get walleye, baked cod, chicken strips, baked potatoes, and more. On the hall side of the Legion, oh, hello there, friends. You can have 12 friends on a table, any one of the best military museums in Michigan. And the dining side, oh, hello again. More comfortable with many 4-seat tables and a couple of 5-seaters. Now on Friday we usually have about 400 to 500 of best friends for our fish. Carry-out? You bet. We have 50 to 60 carry-outs at the post. We have some young friends with the birthdays and some of our best seniors at the post. Oh yeah, waitresses, they go like a track waitress to get your food. If you have never enjoyed our secrets famous walleye at the Legion, come on in every Friday from noon to 8:30 at the American Legion Post 108 on 130 East Rainer Road, Oxford.
Okay. Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we are talking about the windmill, and we would discuss that in the cemetery.
And
Now
the
we're
cell
talk-
tower.
And now we're talking about cell tower.
Is it a
tower.
Verizon or
It's a
AT&T?
Verizon.
Is it Verizon?
Verizon.
Or is it a multi-user
No, it's going to be Verizon, and as a matter of fact, the multi-user you're talking about is a co-locations, they call it, tower. And the question came up as well, if you have co-locations on this tower, do we get paid for each of those locations that they put on?
They should.
In other words, different companies, they should, but they don't.
They
anymore.
don't?
They do not.
So the primary, oh, wait a minute. So you got Verizon paying for the cell tower. Then
And the road to get there.
AT&T comes in, they pay Verizon, right?
Well, I don't know if AT&T would use Verizon.
Well, no, they'd use the cell tower.
But if they do, they set a contract with Verizon. But
Not
the
with the
township
community.
doesn't get any money.
Oh,
Verizon would. But at one time, they used to. But that process has changed.
they should use better negotiating.
Well, if they do as well as they did on the other one, they have one identical to what this is going to be. And it's a 190-foot high tower, and it's going to be a monopole, which is a single pole.
Oh, okay.
And it collapses within itself, you know, if you get extreme weather.
It
Can you say-
collapses?
Yeah. Can you say tornado? Hurricane? No, we don't have
Does
hurricanes.
it collapse or just bend over like a fly
No, It
rod?
collapses. It implodes. It falls within
Like a
itself.
telescoping.
Yeah. It's
Must
designed
have
engineered
motors.
to do
Must
that.
have motors inside it.
I have no idea. Take a note.
Look at that. Wow. I know that's a pretty complex process out there because they have to have a map of all the topography in the area, and they actually have to determine where that cell tower is going to be most efficient and where the null spots were, or the black holes are out
They do.
there.
Black holes.
Black holes.
I thought they were only in outer space.
Says who?
Black holes. I guess I've learned something new here, folks, and you have too. Anyway, they have one of these towers at the Watershed Park right now, and they have a 25-year contract with Verizon for that one.
Yeah.
And I believe they take in roughly about $18,000 per year.
Not bad. I think
No.
Oxford Township put one out by Seymour Lake Park.
Well,
just
they have a
recently.
chip, but they're going to.
Yeah, okay.
There's one scheduled to go out there. But anyway, this one here, they're going to pay for the road and everything and the tower to put it up and so forth. That's part of the agreement.
Plus, they have a little blinking light on top so no one will
No,
hit it.
no. It's not tall enough for a blinking light yet.
It's not tall enough for a blinking light?
No, this is 190 feet. If you go 200 feet, then you have to have a blinking light. Didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't. Now I do.
Okay, kind of stick that with a black hole.
If it were 200 feet, there would be no black holes.
Right? Yeah. Well, they should have a light.
But they would have a light.
Right, okay. Next question came up was, what about hazardous waste agreement? You know, are we going to renew it? And the answer to that was yes. They said, well, we need a representative to head this up, and that was Eric Sen. Everybody hid in the background while Eric stood out front. He got elected for that position. Budget amendments, there were a couple of them that were provided, one for heating permits. They needed to change the cost of the permits.
What's a heating permit?
Well, for the heating inspector. And the heating inspector goes out and checks furnaces and the ductwork and all that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
They had to raise it because we weren't
Is
making
this like a
enough.
new houses or revamped ones or
Right.
what?
That could be new homes or remodeled homes.
Or they'll just show up at your house
Yeah.
and go, I want to check your furnace.
Usually if you purchase a new furnace, you know, the furnace company will come in and so forth, but they do have to get a permit to put it
Right.
in. So that flags who?
Right.
The inspector. Right. So the inspector comes in and makes sure everything is correct. But usually these companies that you're working with in Oxford, they're pretty used to working with the inspectors, and they know what needs to be done and what doesn't. And
That
you know,
usually
pretty
requires the
efficient.
company that's doing the installing to have a permit anyhow.
They do.
Yeah.
So anyway, once you pull the permit, that's when you flag, you know, it's going to be inspected.
That's right.
Okay. But they raised it $8,000, and of course, the increase to the inspector was, the account was moved to $8,000 as well, so it washes out. You got $8,000 coming in for this permit, $8,000 going out for the inspector being paid, you know, for a period
He
of time.
gets paid by the permits?
He gets paid by, I think, a certain number of permits and the amount of time that he puts in.
Okay, it's
It
not
depends,
just
they
it's not
vary.
just a straight salary then.
Yeah. No, it varies.
It's piecework.
Could be. I don't know. I think they probably start with an hourly rate, possibly, or they get paid so much per job. Different communities do it different ways. So
Okay.
take another note. Put it on that big stack of yellows over there.
As long as you're
If you
being
will.
that definitive.
Right. Okay. Well, you're the one who brought up the question. Otherwise, I would.
I was looking for an answer, damn it.
Right. I know. Well, don't get hostile over there. Just hold tight. We'll find out. Take a note. Okay. That and the electrical permits also. They raised $8,000
Okay.
for the same reason. Okay, NODA appointment. To NODA, Lori Fisher was appointed. Oxford Youth Association, Pauline Bennett was appointed. And these are people that have served on these boards before and represent Addison Township. The Pollyann Trail, Eric Sent will be on that board, as well as Bruce Pearson. And
Are
Bruce
they
is
currently on
that-
there?
Bruce is on that board currently.
How about Eric?
I'm not sure if Eric has been on that board before.
Okay.
I don't believe he was. I believe there's another gentleman representing, Addison Township at that time, and I think Eric is now going to pick it up.
Okay.
Communications Commission, again, will be Lori Fisher.
Okay.
And she's been on that board for some time, so it
Right.
makes sense.
She's our treasurer.
She is. ZBA Board, Eric Sent will go to the ZBA as well. And Planning Commission will
Is he currently on the ZBA?
I couldn't tell you if he is.
Okay.
He's probably a new appointment
Okay.
on there.
All right.
Very knowledgeable guy, so I think he'll fit in there very nicely, and I'm sure Bruce Pierce and the others feel that way too,
Okay.
or they wouldn't have put him in there.
Right.
Planning Commission, Linda Garrick. That was the name I was trying to think of earlier. Linda. And she's been on this board for some time too. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Planning Commission, very knowledgeable. Let me see, fiscal year, fiscal year, not physical. It could be physical. If they're arm wrestling trying to get the numbers, that could be a problem, right?
Oh, did they change their fiscal year?
Well, they just reviewed it, and actually,
Their fiscal year starts in March, doesn't it?
It starts in March, but they're getting prepared for that.
Ah.
And I think the information for the new budget is already put together.
Okay.
And I believe that information was passed to each of the trustees. And that budget will be reviewed, I think, using the present copies that they have, sometime down the line here.
Probably a workshop.
Probably a workshop. So, with that, let me see. Bruce Pearson said that there's some things they're not taking as much money in. One of those things is cable, from Charter. Also, he said that there is an increase in some things, and one of those things is going to be an increase in wages, 2.5%
For who?
for next year for the employees at Addison Township that work for the township.
Is that to
Fire-
match inflation?
Huh?
Does that match inflation?
I don't think it matches inflation, but it keeps up. At one time, like the firefighters, they declined taking a raise for a period of time because it was so tough in trying to get funding over there. And so they had to, tighten their belts. And so I think Bruce is trying to make it more palatable now,
I see.
by raising it somewhat. Usually there's
Does that
2%
also
given,
does that
but-
also coincide with an increase in revenues for the budget?
Yeah, he balances. As a matter of fact, compared to last year, he's looking for a carryover of roughly $69,000.
Okay.
I think they've got 156,000, I think, and they carried over 69,000, I believe, something like that. So that's a pretty good carryover on the budget previous years. And his point was, well, he wants to keep the general fund pretty solvent, keep it strong. See, and
Unlike the federal government.
yeah, unlike the federal government, yes. Well, you really can't say that. There's probably some people in the federal government that are trying to keep it strong.
Yeah, that'll take about 100 years.
The less strong E's are the ones
That's
that
a
seem to rule.
big hole to dig out of, folks.
Right, yeah. Talk about black holes. There's one, right? Okay,
And from what I hear, it's going to get even deeper.
it could. Well, it's hard to say. We'll see what happens. I
That
have
was
high
the release
hopes.
of the.
How's that song go?
That was
High
the
hopes?
release of the new budget.
Well, we'll have to see. That's a whole different subject. You think we can get into national and international affairs here if we try?
And that's another story.
That would give us a lot of information to go on here,
Oh,
for minutes by minute if we were to do that.
we'd have so much grist for our mill, we wouldn't know what to do with it.
But then again, we want to keep an eye on what's going on with you folks out there in your government and what's going on. don't
That's
we?
true.
And with that, we'll be back right after this. Welcome back, Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're talking about Addison Township, and we're moving along here pretty good. One of us seems to be running ahead of the other one. We'll see how this works out. One of the things that came up was Addison Township Public Library came forward, the director, and she said that she'd like to review the amount of money that could be refunded to the library. The issue was Enbridge was another one, is asking for return funds. Return funds, that it doesn't, they say that what they gave out to Addison Township doesn't correspond to the infrastructure that was actually performed by the township. So they're saying that they want money back. Well, you know,
Did they give it of their own free will?
they did, but at the time,
Did anyone ask for it?
well, no, but at the time, they wanted to run that big old pipeline through there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
of course,
Oh.
everything was, you know,
And
do
then
this
they
and we'll
didn't.
give you that.
And then they didn't. Or did
They
they?
did. They ran that pipeline through
And
there.
what's the problem?
Well, this is what their attorneys, township attorneys have to deal with. You know, the Oxford Township dealt with this about a year or so back.
How'd that go?
It went okay, I think. They want a real substantial amount of money back from Oxford Township. And Joe Ferrari, you know, went forward with the attorneys and they negotiated, and I think they ended up with about $13,000 fee, which was refunded.
From the attorneys?
No, they were refunded. The attorneys actually weren't too bad. They were like
Okay.
$1,800.
Okay.
Excuse me, but they, I think at that time, Enbridge wanted a whole lot of money.
Well, why did they
So-
want it back if they just gave it and said,
Well,
we're
because
sorry we're destroying all your land?
because they have their job all completed now. They
and
don't have to beg, borrow, or whatever it takes. So they're asking for money back. And they do this all the way up down the line, the pipeline.
I see.
So anyway, so Addison Township,
how
the
do they
folks are
deal
going to
with
have to
no?
deal with that.
How do they deal with no?
With no, not very well, apparently. So anyway, Bruce Pearson is going to be working with this with the township attorney. So you folks
So
bear with him.
actually, does Enbridge take these municipal units to court?
They can, but hopefully it'll go through an arbitrator, you know, before it reaches that point.
Seems very
So
strange.
there's a certain process for it. So we'll see how it works out. You folks keep an eye on those shows. Go to OCCTV.org and check those minutes.
Do we give it to them in Canadian dollars or what?
Hey, you know, that's a possibility. We'll have to talk to Bruce on that one. He'll probably do it. Okay, next, let's talk to Addison Township Parks and Recreation. One of my favorites.
All right.
And I'm going to cry right now because this is the last time we're going to do a report on that.
For a while.
Yep, for a while. We're going to pick up a report, though, for the
Yes, we
library.
are. Yes,
aren't
we are.
As we alluded to at the beginning.
As a matter of fact, we've just booked it.
Yeah, you would know that. Okay. Rod Blasek, Chuck Perinian, and Dave Kostek, and let me see, Larry Douglas and Bruce Pearson. Both Larry and Bruce were absent from this particular meeting. They did approve the agenda. Bing, bang, wada bang. December 5th minutes. Chuck read the minutes.
Which they literally read.
They do, and Chuck read them, and everything's covered. Supervisor report? No supervisor, no report. Okay. Is he still on vacation?
Pearson?
Yeah, I'm just checking.
I don't know.
He hasn't been to one of these meetings in a while. Shame on you. Get out there and check out those bears.
Maybe it just represents the confidence he has in the existing people that are
Well,
there.
you know what? I bet that's part of it. Yep, I'm pretty sure it is. Bills. Guess what?
What?
There was one bill.
Aw,
$19.43.
that's a budget breaker right there.
And guess what? It was Rod Blasek, and he did a repair for the tractor. It needed a filter, and he did all the work on it and the O-rings. And that was the cost of the parts. So you guys got a good person out there, Rod.
Got change from your 20.
Yeah, you did. Old business. Still need to check on Arnold School for the power panel. Remember, they're going to run electrical lights?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. On the poles. They also have to pre-wire those poles. And that was a suggestion that they're going to go forward with that as soon as their fingers will thaw out so they can get out there to do it. With that, they're going to need rangers, though, to help hoist up that light pole.
That's
Each
right.
light pole. There's two of them, I think, at that
There
location.
should be more than one Lone Ranger doing it.
I would think there probably would be. Let me see, what else here? Oh, cameras. They're going to put cameras out, too.
For security or just for
No,
cheapies?
the Bears want to be
General
on television. Right? They're going to do their little bear dance out there.
Yeah, that'd be kind of neat, though, if they had a little critter cam out there.
Well, actually, they have those, you know.
They do?
Yeah.
They have them, or
no, they don't, but they
the
could.
generic?
Yeah, hunters have them.
Well, yeah.
They
but
scout out
they
the
have-
area in advance.
Well, they're not interested in just appreciating wildlife.
No. Here comes another skunk. There goes another bear. There they go. My brother-in-law has one of those. They really work well.
Yeah.
Yep. So he scouts out the territory before he goes out and puts his blind in the tree.
You see these things going off with their flashes and the little animals going around. Oh, I can't see, I can't see.
Doing their little dance in front of the camera. Yeah, I can see how that would work. Okay. The bills. Okay, let me see. We covered that big bill, $19.73. Old business. Still need to check Arnold School. The power panel needs to be checked. And still need to pre-wire those poles, which we discussed. And need rangers for help. I told you.
Yep.
Okay. Estimate. Sometime in January is what they're talking about. And remember, there is a big old willow tree down at one of the parks. You remember where that is?
On the side of the
George.
lake?
Lake George.
On the side of the lake.
On the side of the lake. Near where they're going to have the dock.
They're waiting for the lake to freeze?
They're going to wait for the lake to freeze. And they did mention, well, there's a little thin layer of ice there, but and they were going to send Charlie out there, or Chuck, give him a push and see how far he could go through the ice.
Light the sky first.
Yeah, there's one guy that voted no, that was Chuck. So they decided they'd wait until the thick ice got a little thicker. Good idea, I think.
Well, the weather's been kind of variable lately.
Right. Well, if you send Chuck out there, make sure you tie a rope around his waist before you shoot him out there. Okay.
And an
any-
airbag.
Yeah, and an airbag. And they are going to cut that tree off, I understand, but they said that the tree itself probably could be saved, but I think the point is that the tree is really an obstacle to putting in the...
This won't be one of those goofy things where you cut the tree, it hits the ice, breaks the ice, and everything goes down.
Right. There goes the ramp. There goes the... I don't know. That could happen.
But you
out
said
there.
it was going to fall in a safe area, so
When they get ready to do that, we might want to send a camera crew out there just for the heck of it and see what happens.
for legal purposes.
Keep that in mind, folks. Lake George. Okay. Tree cutting time. They're going to also have the rangers out there when they do that. Now, I think they'll throw a rope at the top, or a couple of them, and kind of have a tendency to pull
Yeah.
it. That's where Charlie's out in the middle of the lake, and he's going to be pulling.
Make sure the wind ain't blowing the wrong way.
Right. Good idea. Yeah. You want to make sure that Chuck gets back. Okay. Even though we're not going to cover these meetings for a while, we'll make sure that he's on this board.
But if something exciting
dry.
happens, we'll report it.
Yeah, plenty dry though. He needs to be dry, not wet behind the ears. Okay. The handicap path, they said they'll work on that in the springtime. So hold their word to it. Sign for Lake George. It is painted, but they said, where do you put this sign? They said, well, I've got an idea, said Chuck. He says, get a hold of Joel Schneer, because he's been involved in placement of these signs before, and he would know the just right place to put this. So guess what? We mentioned Joel the last time,
Yeah.
Joel Schneer, and his wife Pat, but here, they're going to drag him into this. Now, he's going to be screaming and kicking when he comes, but he'll be there to help out with this
He thought
particular
it was out,
situation.
but they dragged him back in.
There he comes, yes. What's coming up? I want to know.
We do have meetings on January 10th. We have at 6:30 the Oxford Board of Education, and at 6:30 the Village of Oxford Council, I believe. Yes. And on 111 at 7 o'clock the Oxford Township Board of Trustees, one of your favorites. And on 112 at 7 o'clock the Oxford Township Planning Commission. And finally, on 116 at 6 o'clock, the Village of Oxford Downtown Development Authority.
Again, I hope. We'll see.
All right.
I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
We'll catch you next time right here on Minutes by Minute.
See you then.